Let me ask you something. Would you do 1% more work in your business if you thought it could double your income? Well, that's just one of the benefits of our direct contact, no commission stock photography marketing model. In fact, if you're selling stock photos any other way, chances are the better you're doing, the more money you're leaving on the table. Now, I know some people are always going to think of stock photography as a commission-based business. No matter how I explain it, they're never going to get the Oz Images approach. That's okay, I understand that. But as I mentioned in my email, I got an email this week from a guy that really surprised me. He was a very experienced photographer who honestly believed that selling his work through a commission-based library didn't cost him anything. Not a cent. He told me repeatedly, "I've never paid a cent to sell my photos and I'm not going to start now." He was seriously offended that we would ask for payment up front and, well, let's say he made sure I knew it. We ended up swapping a couple of emails and eventually we spoke on the phone for a while as well, but it was clear we were never going to agree. And that got me wondering if there might be others out there thinking the same sort of thing. So I put together this short video to crunch a few numbers and show you how you can put more money in your pocket just by taking on a couple of small jobs. Okay, back to my friendly photographer mate. He was telling me he usually makes about $10,000 a year from stock photo sales. He does this through a well-known commission-based stock library, so his total sales were actually twice that, $20,000, and the stock library was keeping 50%, or $10,000 for their commission. Try as I might, there was no way I could get him to see that with Oz Images he would have only paid the flat rate $360 subscription. So the same sales volume would have netted him nearly twice the return. Here's how it looks on paper. Sales for the year, $20,000. Agency commission, $10,000. His net profit, $10,000. Same thing with Oz Images. Sales for the year, $20,000. Agency subscription, $360. Net profit, $19,640. That's a 96% increase in revenue. There is a catch though. Well, two of them actually. One, you'd have to pay up front. Part of the reason we can offer our services so cheaply is because everyone pays up front. And two, he gets to deal with the clients when there's a sale in the works. With the payment question, I can understand that some people look at this as a risk or a gamble, but really it's no bigger risk than placing an ad in the yellow pages. You do have to look at your business though and decide if it's likely that the investment is appropriate for your business at this point in time. We've done our best to help you minimise the risk as well. So first up we put you through the application process, so we're fairly confident you're at a level where you can get good value from this. We also offer a 30-day trial period, so you can check us out in detail for yourself before you commit. And with the monthly subscription option, you can extend that for as long as you like, until you're confident and happy to proceed. So really, the only risk here is not finding out if this is right for you. The other catch, having to deal with the buyers, does scare some people off as well. Some photographers will even try and tell us it's a drawback of our system. But interestingly enough, our member photographers will tell you it's like some sort of secret weapon. You see, this one small change actually gives you 5 extra ways to make money from your photos. Because you're dealing direct with the clients, you can offer them other relevant images, you can offer discounts for multiple licenses, you can follow up with more photos of similar content, you can keep in touch and generate repeat business later on, and if a sale falls through, you can even go back with alternate images and try and salvage some business. That's 5 additional revenue options that just aren't available with the traditional commission-based stock library. And all you have to do is talk to a client when they're ready to buy. So when you look at the potential returns, doesn't that seem like a much better way of doing business? Here's another example for you. Most of our members have a minimum rate of around $125 to $150. And a lot of sales are considerably more than this. So for most people, 3 to 4 average sales a year will put you ahead of a commission-based library. For this example though, let's say an average sale is around $180 and you make just one sale every 3 months. That would put your gross annual income from Oz Images at $720, and that's about break even. With a commission library, you'd pay $360 to the agency. With Oz Images, that's the annual subscription, so you're paying the same. Hopefully you've got your sights set a bit higher than that though. Instead, let's say you make just one sale a month. That's gross annual sales of $2,160. This is where it starts to get interesting. With a traditional stock library, you'd pay $1,080 of that as agency commission. With Oz Images, you still pay the same $360. So now you're saving $720. It gets even better though. Let's say you get busy and build up your catalogue and get to the point where you're making a sale every week. Then you'd be looking at gross sales of $9,360. The traditional stock library would now be taking $4,680 in commission, compared to Oz Images' flat rate of $360. So the Oz Images photographers now have an extra $4,000 a year in their hand. Doesn't that sound like a better way to do business? With a traditional stock library, the better you do, the more you pay. With Oz Images, the better you do, the more you save. There is one other thing that concerns some people. They wonder if the fact that we don't work on commission somehow reduces our incentive to make the money. After all, if we get paid regardless, what do we really care? Well, the fact is, we have an even greater incentive to look after you than your typical commission-based stock library. To be blunt, if you were to join today, we wouldn't do much more than cover costs on the first year of your subscription. That's okay though, because we're planning on doing business with you for many years to come. So we'll accept that low return now if that's what it takes to earn your trust. That's just the start though. Once you do start, we need to prove ourselves and make sure you profit from your involvement so you'll stay with us. If you're not profiting from your membership, you'll stop being a member. And if that happens, we have to start from scratch with another photographer. So a library like Corbis or Getty might need to make sales to make money, but it really doesn't matter to them who is making the actual sales. In fact, it probably helps their bottom line if less people share their gross sales. With Oz Images, our ideal outcome would be a 100% renewal rate. So we're always aiming to get every photographer the best possible return we can. The bigger stock libraries can afford to take a blanket approach, get masses of photographers and then plan for people to pull their images when sales don't happen. But by definition, we have to work with a select few and do our best to make this as profitable as possible for every single one of our photographers. And we do this reasonably well. Our renewal rate is consistently up around 80%, so 4 out of 5 photographers do get good value from their membership. Of course, the flip side of that is, for 1 in 5, it just doesn't work out. When people do pull out after their first year though, more often than not, it turns out they just never really got started. They never submitted enough photos, they never put the tools we provide to work, and they never really gave themselves a chance. So there is a proviso in all this. If you do decide to give Oz Images a run, you need to be prepared to put in the time and effort to make it work. The good news is, after the first year, our renewal rate shoots up to well over 90%. So the system works if you work the system. I do believe that the Oz Images package goes far beyond anything any other stock library currently offers. And having reviewed your application, I do believe you're in a position where you could get great value from this. We're super busy right now and we're still looking for a few more good photographers. So if you're still interested, please log in below and check out the current packages. A lot of people are doing it tough right now, so you'll find we've got some very generous options to make this as accessible as possible. If you've gotten your login details, just enter your email address in the second form and we'll send it to you instantly. And of course, if you have any questions at all, please email me and I'll answer them personally. I look forward to hearing from you real soon, and thanks again.